Big day. So here we go. I really want to just go ahead and start the book review. Some of you guys said I really kind of wanted you to work on it last night. All right, knowing that we're going to kind of finish it up today. All right, so let's take a look at this. I think this will be the best thing that you should look through and make sure that you know everything on this. All right, so here we go. Number 5. Name the intersection of line A and C. That would be what? P. Yeah, these should be pretty easy for you. Give another name for line B. You could say what? ST, and then put your line symbol over it. You could also call it what? Or what? Go ahead. Yes. And then XT. Everybody okay with that? Either one of those is good. Name a point that is not contained in any of the 3 lines. That would be what, obviously? What? W. Good. Give another name for plane WPX. Yes, you can name it plane R, right? And it's got to be kind of italicized. The other way you could do it was just with any other of the what? What's another way you could do it? Any other what? 3 non-collinear points. Any 3 non-collinear points could describe that plane. Does anybody have any questions with that? All right, so 9, you'd probably call, it's kind of hard to see. Sorry, when I copied it, I wasn't sure if you guys would have your books. That's why I copied it for you. All right, but everybody has their book online now, right? All right, so I think they're pointing to this right here. I think we could call that a what? We could call that a line, or we could call it a segment. I don't really care. I'm not going to have you name the pictures tomorrow. All right. If you thought they were pointing to the actual fence, that could be described as the what then? Plane. Right, so I don't care. You know the difference between a point, a line, and a plane. Just like over here, number 10 represents the what? The point. All right, so that was pretty easy. All right, now for number 11. Find the value of the variable and xp. All right, so if x is between p and q, then again, the segment addition postulate states what? Help me out, guys.
X plus p equals p.
Somebody,
no. P plus
somebody help. Yes. Px
equals
plus x what? Say it again.
Q.
xq is equal to.
xp.
Come on now. That's really important. Make sure you got that. All right. Which just basically means the 2 parts add up to the whole. That's all. All right. So now for question number 11, we can just say what? What's the equation?
5x plus 13 equals 40.
No one?
Oh.
Go, tell us.
5x minus 3 plus 13.
Right. 5x minus 3 plus 13 equals 40. All right. And everybody should be able to do the mental math on that. So x is what? I believe x equals 6 on that, right? X equals 6.
Yes.
Now we have to be careful because we want what? XP, right?
Yeah.
So now we would just say XP is equal to
27.
Anybody have any issues? Well, here is.
Oh, with 5x minus 3.
See that? All right. So now let's talk about 12. All right, somebody write the equation for number 12 for me. Go ahead.
plus 7k minus 2 equals 6k plus 16.
3k plus 7k minus 2 equals 6k plus 16. Everybody agree with that? Yeah.
What are you doing to get that one?
Do you understand the segment addition postulate? Yeah, I'm asking.
Not really.
So when they say, I don't know where you've been, all right? But here, if x is between P and Q, something's going on here. X is between P and Q. You see it yet?
Yeah.
Therefore what? Px plus xq equals pq.
Oh.
That's all it is. All right, so when we solve this down here, I'm pretty sure that's mental math too, right? 10k, 4k equals, my thing is acting up here, sorry.
Yeah, for 1/2. 18 over.
Yes, so we would have 4k is equal to 18, so k is equal to 9 halves. Does everybody agree with that? And if k is 9 halves, they want still xp, right? So xp now again is the 7k minus 2, right? So we would say xp is equal to 7 times 9 halves minus 2. Did I agree with that? And 7 times 9 halves is 63 halves, right? Minus 2, which would be 4 halves, which would be 59 halves. Yes, ma'am. Say it again. Because it's in this equation right here. xp is 7 times k minus 2. Right? Plug it in. That's it. All right, any questions with that? Man, my phone is just acting up. All right. It's acting up so much, I'm going to see if I can copy this. All right. Now we should be able to do the distance formula rather quickly, right? I don't think we have to do all of them, but I also think I want to practice with our radicals also. Make sure you are good at simplifying those. So just to make sure, our distance formula is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Everybody see that? All right, so in this case, the distance is equal to the square root. Now, I feel good about you guys just doing some mental math here. So, -3 minus 7 is 10, correct? And 10 squared is 100. This is how I do it. 100 plus. Now we're subtracting the y's and we get what? 12, right? And 12 squared is what? 144, and so that equals the square root of 244, and now we have to break this down. All right. Now, obviously, what number goes into 244 that's a perfect square? 4. Should be able to look at that, right? So now we're looking at this going, that's just 4 times what? 61. So then that answer is what? Thank you, 2 radical 61. Everybody okay with that? All right, so now let's look at number 14. I think we have time today. D equals, subtract, and what do you get? The x's. 8 squared. 64. Come on, it's that easy. Plus, now you got to be careful. Yes, 36, right? Don't make the mistakes when there's double negatives to forget. So that's the square root of 100, which is equal to what? 10. Yes.
I'm a little confused how you got 36.
-1 minus -7. Or
Thank
-7 minus -1. The reason why it doesn't matter which order, because when you square it, it's going to be positive. All right, so double check yourself now. 15, here we go. Distance is equal to. Subtract the x's, you get what?
60.
No. No.
10.
8.
10. Come on, guys. That's what I'm saying now. There's no reason to make a mistake on this now. None. 9 minus -1 or -1 minus 9, right? Make your mistake now and correct it. So that becomes now what? 100. Good. That's what I want. Plus,
36.
and then 36. Thank you. So that's the square root of 136. Are we okay with that? And now, is there a perfect square in there? 4. That is correct. Because the last 2 digits are divisible by 4. That's how you know it's divisible by 4. All right. So that becomes the square root of 4 times, good job, thank you, Kelly, 34. So your final answer is 2 radical 34. Any issues? Okay. Here we go. Last chance. Distance is equal to the square root. What would that be? Subtracting the x's. 3. And then 3 squared is what?
9.
9. All right. And then subtracting, we get what?
49.
So altogether we have
50.
square root of 58. And 58 is 2 times 29, so that does not break down. So that's how we're going to leave it as. All right. Simplified radical form. Anybody have any questions with those? I think that's pretty straightforward, right? All right, here we go. Now, finding the coordinates of the midpoint. So you have to know the midpoint formula. All right. Midpoint formula is the average of the x's, we say, and the average of the y's. Are you okay with that? So 18 should be pretty easy for us. The midpoint is 7, 10. 19, it should be, yes, or negative 13 over 2. Anybody have any issues? Now, M is the midpoint, so we need to find the other point. So in my opinion, the easiest way to do that is y is going to be, from a negative 11 to 15, I moved how many units? A lot, thank you.
20.
26, right? So if you moved 26, if you move 26, you have to, in order to stay in the middle, you have to move another what? 26. So 26 plus 31. Or I'm sorry, 26 plus 15 is what? 41. Comma. Now you went from -6 to 4, so you moved how many?
10.
10. So you need to move another 10, which would put you at what? 14. Very simple. All right. Yes. Well, because it's asking for, right? You're in the middle. All right. So now if m is -4, 8 and the midpoint, oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. M is the midpoint. All right. So now I'm kind of looking at going from this direction. So now I'm looking for x. So I went from 19 to -4. So I went back 23. So then I'm going to be at what? -27. And then from 0 to 8. So I would be at what? 16. Double check that now and make sure you're understanding that. I just think that's the easiest way to do that. Yeah.
How do you get -27?
Because from 19 to -4, I went what? Back how many? 23. Do you agree?
Yeah. Oh, and then you add 4.
So if I go back another 23, starting at -4, I would be at -27.
Oh, okay.
True?
Yeah.
All right. To me, again, those are pretty easy. Yes.
And the same thing from 0 to 8.
Right. So from 0 to 8, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my iPad. I just lost that whole page. Okay, let me pause for just a second and get it back. So here we go. Sorry, I'm not sure what the problem was. Shh. Hey, guys. All right. So we're back. All right. Now, that was 20 and 21. Now 22 is kind of the same thing with words. Does everybody agree with that? All right. Now, let's take a look at B for a second. Let's look at B. I think that's an interesting problem. Yes.
I'm still confused on the other one of how you got 16.
We started at 0 and we walked to 8. How far did we walk?
8.
So if I'm going to be in the middle, I've got to walk what? Another how many?
8.
So how did I get 16? Yes. Okay. All right. So now let's look at these right here. All right. So if Carol is located at 713 and M is at 3,5. So I've got a C. All right. So I'm just going to come over here and put C is 3,5. And then I have, no, M, I'm sorry. M is 3,5. And then, technology is going great today. All right. So M, and then I have C, which is at 713. So C is going to be somewhere over here at 7, 13. All right. Now, what I want to do is, if you just kind of visualize, you're drawing that line right there. I want to find the coordinate that is 1/3 the distance from Carol to, yes, thank you, from C to M. All right, I want it to be 1/3 the distance. All right, so let's take a look right now. So one way is, for me, when I was figuring this out, I think the easiest explanation is to look at this and see if you agree. All right. You're looking at it kind of from an X perspective and from a Y perspective, right? So this distance from 3 to 7 is how much? 4. And from 5 to 13 is what? or 8. Here we go. So it's 8. So those are the distances there. So everybody agree with that? Now, again, you just have to be careful when you read it. Find the coordinate of the point 1/3 of the distance from C to M. So I want to go 1/3 of the distance. Do you agree with that? I want to move 1/3. So if I move 1/3, that means I'm going to move on the X what? How much? 4/3, right? And I'm going to move what? You're going to move 8/3. All right. Now the question is, are we going to move from M or are we going to move from C? You're going to move from C. Do you agree? Does everybody agree? I'm moving from C. So this, right? That distance, this point right here, let's just call it A, is going to be what? AC is going to be what? 1/3 the distance from what? Yes, from M to C or C to M. Does everybody agree with that? So if I move 4/3 on the X, right? Where did I start at? Nope. I started at what? Say it. Yeah, you started at 7/13, correct? Because I'm going in this direction. I'm walking this direction. All right? So if I start at 7 and I move 4/3 to the left, I'm really just doing what? 7 minus what? 4/3. Do I agree with that? So the X coordinate would be what?
4, 10.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
7 minus 4/3. What is 7 minus 4/3?
17 over 3. 17 over 3.
17 over 3. Do we agree with that? Now I started at 13 and I went down how many?
8.
I went down 8/3. So 13 is how many thirds? How many? 39/3. Thank you. So 39/3 minus 8 would be what?
31/3.
31/3. All right, that was kind of tricky. Yeah.
How do you get 39?
Because 13, if I'm doing 13 minus 8/3, the common denominator for 13 over 1, multiply by 3. 13 times 3 is 39, right?
Why did you start at C and go to
Because that's what it says.
Oh.
You're 1/3 the distance from C to M, right?
And how did you get 4/3 and 3/3?
This distance from here to here is how much?
4/3.
No, it's not. It's 4. because I went from what? 3 to 7, right?
Mhm.
So if I went from 3 to 7, that's 4 units. All right?
Yeah.
And now I want to go 1/3 of that distance. 1/3 of that distance is 4/3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Is a question like this going to be on the test?
I'm just thinking this is a good review, so just be careful. All right. Let's, if you want, you can omit 23 and 24 for now. All right, let's move on. Name the vertex of angle 7G. Good. Write another name for angle 4. Angle 4 we could call what? So this is angle 4, right?
Or CDG.
Right. So D is the vertex. So we could say that's angle CDG. Everybody okay with that? CDG. Name the sides of angle 2. The sides, remember, are rays. So the side of angle 2 would be ray. Am I looking at, hold on. Am I looking at this right here and this right here, right? So the sides to that are what? Ray CA and ray C what? CG or CH, either one. Everybody see that? Yeah.
What about ray CB?
See what?
CB.
That's not what the two. That's not
Shh, shh, guys.
Is it like
You guys are correcting, and I don't need that this year. All right? I'm trying to get you guys to stop messing around. Grow up a little bit.
I think it's like two's down there, right? And then
No, angle 2 is right here. Angle 2 is right here, right?
Yes.
So this right here, let me make sure I'm clear here. This, let me make another one. This is the ray that we're talking about right here, and this is the ray we're talking about. I don't know where B is in this.
Yeah, I was just thinking because I get one off the top.
No, because you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The ray is
Yes.
going down. If I was said angle 1, it would be CB.
Yeah.
All right. Name a pair of opposite rays. All right. When you're talking about opposite rays, you're just going to look for a line. All right. So, for example, opposite rays. Now, I could say ray CD and ray what? CA. That's kind of easy. Right? Is that the only option? It's not the only option. Definitely not the only option. Everybody okay with that? All right. Now, obviously, we're not using a protractor anymore. All right, so we can say this angle right here is probably a what? This is probably a, this is, and this is what? Acute. Easy. All right, here we go. Let's go down here now. 30 through 32. Name an angle that is supplementary to TVY. So I'm going to highlight TVY, which is right here, right? So somebody tell me that would be what?
SVR.
TVY. I don't think SVR would do it.
RVS.
I think RVT is good. Angle RVT. So look, RVT, that part right there. RVT. Right?
Yeah.
Again, remember what I say, the most important part of geometry is the visual part of it. Guys, I'm telling you, man, some of you guys, you're playing around, right? I'm supposed to have you sign a clipboard. Do you really think I want to have you sign a clipboard 3 times?
No.
I'm not going to do that. All right, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to call your mom and dad and say they're messing around in geometry class. You guys have the ability now, sit, you're a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and just concentrate. Keep your hands to yourself. Stop messing around. Stop messing with people's shoes. Whatever you're doing, if you bump into somebody, just say, excuse me, can you move up a little bit? There's no reason to hit them. There's no reason to push their chair back. If they're bothering you, you're always welcome to get up and move. I have 23 chairs in here. Lots of extra space. So get up and move. You are distracting me. I can't finish the review. You have a test tomorrow. All right, name a pair of vertical angles. Lots of vertical angles. So here we go. Let's just look at the figure. All right, and you decide if you know vertical angles. The easiest way to do a vertical angle is just make an X. As soon as you make an X, this is vertical with this. This right here is also vertical with this. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. With vertex W. So let's look at vertex W. All right. So that makes it actually more defined. So this guy right here, that guy right there. So you would say angle PWQ or SWX or QWV and PWX or PWY. Everybody okay with that? Any questions? Vertical angles, we've done that forever. All right, so here we go. The measure of angle SXW. So I'm going to highlight SXW. SX, okay, so that's just pretty obvious, right? Find the value of x so that SX is perpendicular to WX. That just means that angle is what?
The opposite.
That angle is what? 90 degrees. You with me on this? So it's just what? 5x minus 16 equals 90. All right? And so that just is x is equal to what? 106 divided by 5. Yes, I know that's 21.2. I just prefer fraction. Yes. I really don't care. You just trust me. It's much better to get used to doing fractions. You with me? I'm going to leave it as a fraction. All right, if you leave it as a decimal, that's okay. So it says the parking arm shown below rests in a horizontal position and opens to a vertical position. After the arm has moved 24 degrees, how many more degrees does it have so that's vertical? Obviously what? 66 degrees. All right, they would be complementary. All right, here we go. Name each polygon by the number of its sides. So number 34 would be called a what?
Triangle.
Triangle. Is it concave or convex? It is convex. Thank you. All right. 35 would be the what? The concave. Now, definitely what kind of a formal definition of concave is? When you draw a diagonal, if your diagonal lies outside the shape, it is considered concave. All right. But we always used to say if it forms a cave, kind of, then you know that it's concave. All right. Convex. Right, every triangle is going to be convex. All right. So this now, 34 is considered convex. Is it regular?
Yes.
Yes, because all the sides are equal and all of the angles are equal. All right. Now, for question 35, is it regular?
Yes.
It's definitely irregular. First of all, we don't know if the sides are congruent because they're not marked. Does everybody agree with that? And plus, we don't know about the interior angles. Look, guys, this is 90 degrees, we'll say, but this angle is not 90. You see what I'm saying? That's why it would have to be irregular.
So,
Yes, and also, it has to be convex. Okay? It has to be convex. So anytime something's concave, it's not going to be regular. All right? Now, I really want to jump down. I think this is just plotting points. Right? I don't think that should be a big deal, plotting the points, measuring it out. But I want to kind of get to the bottom because I want to see. All right, I'm not sure exactly how much time we have.
We have
3 minutes. Okay, so we should identify each solid. All right, so if I identify each solid here for 43, that would be a what? Pyramid. That is correct. All right, and number 44 would be a what? Hexagonal prism. Right, hexagonal prism. The reason why it's called a hexagonal prism is because the base is a hexagon. And it's called a prism because the bases are the same. All right. Now, why is the other one a pyramid? The other one is a pyramid because there's only one base, and it has one vertex. All right, it has one vertex at the top. All right. So we have a pyramid and hexagonal prism. All right. Now, listen. Honestly, we have a whole chapter based on surface area and volume. I really don't think it's necessary for you to try to memorize those formulas yet. I'll teach you how to do that later. All right, for those of you guys who want to look up the formulas, like you should know the surface area formulas. We did it in pre-algebra, except I or whoever your 6th grade teacher was, maybe he'd let you use the formula sheets to plug the numbers in. All right, but that was in pre-algebra. All right. So I want to jump down here to section 1.9 or 1-9. So 1.9, that net would look like a what? And a 52 is kind of hard.
Cylinder.
Definitely not a cylinder. Cone. Good job. Cylinder or cone. All right, so listen. Hey, just review this review right here. Don't worry so much about the first review that we did. Concentrate on this, please. Concentrate on this.
We have to worry about the ERB questions on the other.
I'm always going to put ERB stuff on there. They're going to be different questions, though.
Should I just leave this on your desk?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Boys, what do we have now?
I know.